Priyanka Chopra Jonas was not born into film royalty. She was not the daughter of a superstar. She did not grow up on a movie set. She was born in 1982 in India to two doctors serving in the Indian Army. That meant discipline. That meant constant movement. That meant learning how to adjust, survive, and adapt from a very young age. As an army kid, Priyanka changed schools frequently. New cities, new friends, new environments, over and over again. While many children struggle with instability, she quietly developed something powerful: resilience. She learned how to enter a room full of strangers and find her space. She learned how to observe before she spoke. She learned how to rebuild her identity again and again. As a teenager, she spent a few years in the United States. Instead of glamour, she faced bullying. She was teased for her skin color, her accent, her background. At an age when self esteem is fragile, she experienced what it feels like to not belong. But instead of shrinking herself, she built armor. She later said that those years gave her strength. They taught her never to let someone else define her worth. At 18, almost unexpectedly, her life changed. She entered the Miss India pageant and then went on to win Miss World 2000. Suddenly, the world knew her name. Cameras flashed. India celebrated her beauty. But here is what's important. She didn't want to be remembered only for a crown. Winning Miss World opened the doors to Bollywood. But Bollywood is not kind to outsiders. It is competitive, political, and often dominated by film families. Priyanka had none of that backing. No godfather, no industry connections. She had ambition and belief. In early films, she made mistakes. Some projects failed. Critics questioned her staying power, but she refused to disappear. Instead of choosing safe roles, she chose challenging ones. She played a negative character when heroines were expected to be sweet and perfect. She portrayed deeply flawed, ambitious, and complex women. In the film Fashion, she showed the dark rise and fall of a supermodel, a performance so powerful it won her the national award. In Mary Kom, she transformed physically and emotionally to play a world champion boxer, proving she could carry a film on her shoulders. By her late 20s, she was one of the biggest stars in India. Wealth, fame, awards, she had it all. And then she did something almost unthinkable. At the peak of her Bollywood career, she left. She moved to the United States to start again. Imagine this: you are at the top in your country, you are recognized everywhere, and you choose to walk into rooms where nobody knows your name. That takes courage, not ambition, courage. In Hollywood, she wasn't a superstar. She was another auditioning actor. She faced subtle rejection, cultural stereotyping, and the unspoken bias that South Asian actors often encounter. But she persisted, and then came Quantico. She became the first South Asian woman to headline an American network television series. She wasn't the side character with an accent. She was the lead, the hero, the face on billboards across America. That wasn't just personal success, that shifted perception. It expanded what global audiences could imagine when they thought of an Indian woman. From there, she stepped into international films, red carpets, global campaigns, and major production deals. But she didn't forget where she came from. She produced original Indian films. She invested in stories that might not have found funding otherwise. She built bridges between industries instead of abandoning one for the other. Beyond entertainment, she used her platform for something larger. For over a decade, she has worked with UNICEF, first as a national ambassador and then as a global goodwill ambassador. She has traveled to underserved regions, spoken about girls' education, child rights, and the importance of opportunity. She has funded initiatives in India focused on health and education for young girls. She has stood at global forums, not as a celebrity seeking applause, but as an advocate demanding change. When she married Nick Jonas, it became global news. An Indian actress and an American pop star. Their wedding symbolized more than romance. It represented cultural blending without compromise. She wore Indian tradition proudly on an international stage. She didn't dilute her identity to fit Western expectations. She expanded the global understanding of it. Today, Priyanka Chopra Jonas is more than an actress. She is a producer, entrepreneur, investor, author, and mother. She has written a memoir titled Unfinished, a fitting name for someone who refuses to let her story be boxed in. What makes her story powerful isn't just fame, it's reinvention. She reinvented herself from army kid to beauty queen, from beauty queen to serious actor, from Bollywood superstar to Hollywood newcomer, from performer to global voice. Each time she reached a peak, she chose growth over comfort. She changed the narrative around South Asian representation in global media. She proved that talent from India doesn't need to stay confined to one industry. She showed young girls watching her that you can be ambitious without apology. You can be glamorous and intelligent. You can be traditional and modern. You can belong to the world without losing your roots. Millions follow her not just because she is famous, but because she embodies expansion of identity, of geography, of possibility. Priyanka Chopra Jonas didn't wait for permission to enter global spaces. She stepped in, and when those spaces felt too small, she widened them. Her story is not just about success, it's about courage. The courage to start over when you are already winning, the courage to represent your culture proudly, the courage to take up space in rooms where people didn't expect you. And perhaps that is why she remains so influential today. Because in a world that often tells people to stay in their lane, she built her own highway. That is not just stardom, that is impact.